Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective, and today we've got something really neat to look at. So this is the Keychron K10 Pro full-size mechanical keyboard, and this is kind of neat for a couple reasons. One, I don't see full-size keyboards on the channel very often, and of course the second is that Keychron is kind of a favorite keyboard of mine. Way back in the day, I actually purchased this Keychron K8 keyboard, and this was kind of my first serious foray into custom mechanical keyboards, and this seemed like a really good place to start. And then I bought the Q0 numpad, just so that way I always had a numpad regardless of what keyboard I ended up using on my desk. If you want to learn more about these, I'll leave a link somewhere here in the YouTube space for you to check those out. And that should bring me to the point that I need to make before we continue, and that this is a keyboard that was sent to me by Keychron. So while they did send this to me, I'm not personally being financially compensated for the production of the review, and my opinions, as always, remain my own. However, the K8 and Q0 I did purchase with my own money, so I do like their product. So before we open this up, let's just take a quick tour of the website, because there's some stuff that we need to point out about the models. So the prices you see here are in Canadian dollars, but I do want to point out that the black fully assembled hot swappable is significantly different than the black fully assembled one. That is a key difference, and they do point that out several places on the website as to why they're different. If you're wondering, the prices in American are usually between 99 to 109 US dollars. And we can see that it comes in white and RGB backlit, and it comes in Pro, red, and brown switches, and sometimes banana is listed on the site as well. But when we're talking about the SKUs, these are important. So this is K10PG1, which is what I have, and that is the hot swappable black variant. The black fully assembled not swappable is the KP10A1, which you may or may not want, depending on the description that we read just below here, where it states that the black fully assembled version is not hot swappable and does not include sound absorbing foam, silicone pad, and the stabilizers are plate mounted, yada yada yada. However, the K10PG variants are both fully assembled and hot swappable keys. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're looking to buy one of these, not to confuse those two. So let's go ahead and quickly look at the back of this. We do list a few things, obviously, like the full-size layout, the dual compatibility, which includes Linux, the open source firmware that allows you to use QMK or VIA to program it. You can even program this in a web browser. Very, very handy. And then, of course, wireless or wired with a 4,000 milliamp battery. Very, very handy as well. You can pair up to 3 devices with this, and the battery life will vary, obviously, depending on whether or not backlight is being used or not. So let's get our trusty little knife here and open the box. Alright, so inside we are greeted with a quick start guide, which is always nice, and it goes through all the basic functions, how to program, how to connect it, all the keycap differences. Very, very handy. Pretty standard, thankfully, with these mechanical keyboards these days, so you're not having to spend too much time figuring stuff out. We do have quite a kit of tools here. So we have a keycap puller, a switch puller, a screwdriver, and an Allen wrench. So you can pretty much disassemble, I think, the entire keyboard with these tools, which is really encouraging to see. We have a USB Type A to USB Type C cable for plugging it into the computer. And then we have a bag of keycaps to swap it over to the Windows operating system. It looks like when they shipped it, they included Mac keycaps installed from the factory. And in the bottom, we've got some notices about making sure that you're installing your switches correctly and safely. And a little manual that contains all sorts of instructions in detail, both English and in Chinese. Alright, now that we have the keyboard free from its cardboard prison, we can go ahead and take a look at some of the features. I've already gone and swapped out the Windows keycaps, because that's the operating system I'm going to be using it with. On the back, it's worth pointing out that we do have adjustable feet with this keyboard. When it's lying flat, it is 3.5 degrees. Small foot is 7, and large foot is 10.5. On the back, we have the switch for Windows and Mac, Bluetooth and wired and off, And then, of course, we have the physical connection for USB Type-C. A couple other things that are worth pointing out is the fully customizable 4 keys right above the numpad. I've really appreciated having those on the Q0, and it's nice to see them on this full-size one. You could obviously swap out these caps for whatever you want, and you can program those buttons for pretty much any macro or whatever it is using the QMK or VIA software packages. So let's go ahead and set this up and do some typing tests. All right, with everything set up, let's do our 1-minute test. "74 words per minute is not a surprising amount because I'm so used to the K8 for the frequency that I used it that I expected that this would be probably a little quicker than some of the ones out of the box. That isn't to say that it isn't a great keyboard, because a lot of work has gone into this. Like the OSA profile, double shot, PPD keycaps definitely make this an excellent typing experience. There is no question about it. It just might be more difficult for me to kind of separate my experience with the K8 and the nicety of this keyboard. But then again, if I have experience with the K8, it usually means it's a pretty good board. So one of the other things that we should probably look at is just how customizable this is through the QMK or VIA software package. So if we go to the Keychron website and go to the launcher, this is one of the many ways that we can connect the keyboard. Again, what I like about this is no software downloads, and it shows the K10 Pro and C white. We can go ahead and see the basic, media, macro, special keys, the lighting keys, pretty much everything that you'd expect to drag and drop all of this stuff on there. No surprises. Macros, so we can set up as many macros as we want. And if we want to use VIA, then we can absolutely do that, no problem. We can save and load profiles. It also has a key tester, and then of course the keycap theme you can adjust just for using it in here. And if we turn off the light, we can get a nice look at the white backlight on this model. This one is not the RGB variant. That one I believe is the H1, and this is the G1. But overall, this thing is a really slick piece of kit. I'm really happy I got the chance to look at it. If you're looking for breaking into the full-size or even the mechanical keyboard market, this is a really good place to start. The build quality is there, the functionality is there, the features are there, and the price point is there, quite frankly. That's one of the benefits of going with Keychron, is that they make enough keyboards that they can kind of keep their costs in the more accessible pricing area, which isn't to say that there aren't companies out there that can build a better keyboard, but per dollar, there is a lot to like about the Keychron lineup, and the K10 Pro is no exception, and will probably go into immediate service, replacing a keyboard that I use on another computer. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, make sure that you're leaving them in the comment section down below, and I'll leave some links in the description on where you can get your own if you're so inclined. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.